What if the greatest threat to your life is not failure, not suffering, not other people, but the parts of yourself you refuse to see? What if destiny is not written by the world, but by forces inside you that operate in silence? And what if freedom is not achieved by becoming more successful, more admired, or more positive, but by confronting what you most desperately want to avoid? Carl Jung did not build a philosophy to comfort the human ego. He built one to awaken it. Carl Gustav Jung was born in 1875 in Switzerland into a world shaped by religion, repression, and moral certainty. His father was a Protestant pastor who struggled deeply with faith. His mother oscillated between warmth and emotional distance. From early childhood, Jung sensed that human beings often live divided lives. One life they show to the world, and another that remains hidden beneath the surface. This early awareness became the seed of his life's work. Jung trained as a psychiatrist and rose quickly through academic ranks. He worked at the Burghölzli Psychiatric Hospital in Zurich, where he studied psychosis, dreams, and unconscious processes. His early brilliance attracted the attention of Sigmund Freud. Freud saw Jung as his successor, even calling him his crown prince. But this alliance would not last. Freud believed human behavior was driven primarily by repressed sexuality. Jung believed this explanation was dangerously incomplete. Jung saw symbols, myths, religion, and spirituality not as illusions, but as expressions of deep psychological truths. Their split was not personal ambition. It was a philosophical rupture. Jung refused to reduce the human soul to a single instinct. After breaking with Freud, Jung experienced a profound psychological crisis. Visions flooded his mind. He feared madness. Instead of suppressing these experiences, he chose to face them directly. He withdrew from public life and began recording his inner experiences in what later became known as the Red Book. This act was not academic. It was existential. Jung risked his reputation and sanity to understand the unconscious from within. From this descent emerged one of Jung's most famous and disturbing statements. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This sentence dismantles one of humanity's most comforting beliefs. Jung argued that what people call destiny is often nothing more than unconscious patterns repeating themselves. Childhood wounds, unexamined fears, inherited beliefs, and denied desires operate beneath awareness, shaping choices, relationships, and outcomes. When these forces remain unseen, life feels predetermined. Jung insisted that awareness is the only escape. This insight led Jung to develop the concept of the shadow. The shadow represents the aspects of the personality that the ego refuses to acknowledge. Aggression, envy, selfishness, weakness, shame, but also unrealized strength and creativity. Jung observed that people do not eliminate these traits by denying them. They project them onto others. What is rejected within is perceived as evil without. Jung captured this danger in one of his most quoted lines. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This idea stands in direct opposition to shallow self-improvement culture. Jung believed that obsessing over positivity while refusing to confront inner darkness creates hypocrisy, fragility, and moral blindness. A person who denies their shadow does not become good. They become unaware. Jung saw the consequences of this denial not only in individuals, but in societies. He lived through 2 world wars. He watched ordinary people commit extraordinary cruelty under ideological banners. Jung warned that when individuals fail to integrate their own shadow, it emerges collectively in destructive forms. Tyranny, violence, and mass hysteria, he believed, are psychological phenomena before they are political ones. Another of Jung's central insights appears in the statement, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." Jung was not dismissing the external world. He was warning against escape. He believed that many people chase achievement, status, ideology, or distraction to avoid inner confrontation. But no external success can compensate for internal fragmentation. A divided psyche produces a divided life. This belief became the foundation of Jung's concept of individuation. Individuation is not self-improvement. It is self-integration. It is the lifelong process of becoming whole by integrating conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche. Jung believed maturity was not about perfection, but about wholeness. A person who has integrated their darkness is not harmless. They are controlled. They understand their capacity for destruction and therefore choose restraint. Jung expressed the difficulty of this process in a stark admission. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. This sentence reveals the emotional cost of self-knowledge. Jung understood that accepting oneself means facing envy, cowardice, resentment, and moral failure. But without this acceptance, growth remains superficial. Denial imprisons. Awareness liberates. Jung also developed the idea of the persona, the social mask individuals wear to function in society. He did not condemn the persona. He warned against identifying with it. He wrote, "The persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself, as well as others, think one is. When people mistake the mask for the self, they become dependent on approval and terrified of exposure. Their lives turn into performances rather than expressions of truth." This fear of exposure, Jung believed, lies at the heart of modern anxiety, the terror of being seen as one truly is. Jung insisted that psychological health requires separating identity from image. Only then can a person act with integrity rather than fear. Jung also placed immense importance on dreams. He believed dreams were communications from the unconscious, compensating for what consciousness ignores. Dreams, he said, are the guiding words of the soul. Jung did not interpret dreams as wish fulfillment, but as symbolic messages aimed at restoring balance. Ignoring them meant ignoring the psyche's attempt to heal itself. Through his study of dreams, myths, and religions, Jung identified recurring symbolic patterns across cultures. He called these archetypes: the hero, the mother, the father, the trickster, the wise old man. Jung concluded that beneath personal experience lies a deeper layer of shared human psychology, which he called the collective unconscious. This idea explained why myths separated by thousands of years and miles shared striking similarities. Humanity, Jung believed, carries its history psychologically. From this understanding came one of Jung's most profound insights. In each of us, there is another whom we do not know. Jung rejected the idea of a singular self. He believed identity is complex and layered. The ego is not the master of the psyche, but one voice among many. When the ego dominates, individuals become rigid, defensive, and blind. When the ego listens, wisdom emerges. Jung also believed meaning, not happiness, was the true aim of life. He stated, "Man cannot stand a meaningless life. Happiness," he argued, "is fleeting. Meaning endures. Meaning arises when life aligns with inner truth. Without meaning, success becomes hollow and pleasure becomes addictive." Jung treated many patients whose suffering stemmed not from trauma alone, but from a lack of meaning. This belief made Jung deeply skeptical of ideology. He warned that individuals who lack inner authority become vulnerable to external authority. When people abandon personal conscience, they surrender responsibility. Jung observed that mass movements thrive on this surrender. He wrote, "The bigger the crowd, the more negligible the individual becomes." His warning was clear. Without self-knowledge, freedom is easily traded for certainty. Jung's philosophy also emphasized tension between opposites. He wrote, "The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong." Jung believed wisdom emerges from holding contradictions consciously. logic and intuition, order and chaos, discipline and freedom. To collapse into one extreme was immaturity. Psychological strength came from balance, not absolutism. Jung's thought aligns closely with Stoic discipline. He believed that suffering itself was emphasized not as something to avoid, but as something to understand. He wrote, "Where your fear is, there is your task." Fear, to Jung, marked the boundary of growth. Avoiding fear led to stagnation. Facing it led to transformation. Jung also rejected victimhood. He acknowledged trauma but refused to define people by it. He famously stated, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." This sentence embodies Jung's belief in responsibility. Circumstances influence, but they do not determine. Conscious response defines character. Throughout his life, Jung emphasized the necessity of pain in transformation. He stated plainly, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Awakening demands sacrifice. Illusions must die. Certainty must dissolve. Comfort must be surrendered." But Jung believed the cost of unconsciousness was far greater. A life lived without awareness becomes repetitive, resentful, and destructive. Jung lived according to this philosophy. He accepted isolation, criticism, and misunderstanding. He refused to simplify his ideas for popularity. He chose truth over acceptance. Toward the end of his life, Jung reflected deeply on death. He did not fear it. He saw it as a transition. Death, he said, is psychologically as important as birth. Awareness of mortality sharpened life's meaning. Carl Jung left no doctrine, no ideology, no system of obedience. He left a mirror. His work does not tell you who to be. It asks whether you are willing to know who you already are. He teaches that what you resist persists, that what you deny controls you, that what you integrate frees you, that morality without self-knowledge becomes cruelty, that light without darkness becomes illusion, that destiny begins inside long before it appears outside. Carl Jung did not promise salvation. He offered individuation, the lifelong discipline of becoming whole. And perhaps his most unsettling lesson is this: until you confront yourself, the world will confront you. Until you understand your shadow, your fate will wear its face. And until you choose consciousness, life will continue to choose for you. This is the legacy of Carl Jung. Not comfort, not certainty, but truth.